to the motors. Okay. So the subject code is 18E44, handled by Professor Nagraj DC, not Mr. Nagraj DC. I am not a professor. Okay. For outsiders, we will be calling it as so. Okay. First, we'll look into the syllabus. Is the uh, syllabus screen visible? Because sometimes I got a problem with other classes. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is a 3 credit course with uh, lecture hours 3 per week, but one tutorial we'll get. Actually, here the tutorial is not mentioned as per the syllabus, but because subject is important, one additional tutorial is given. So we will be having 4 classes of electric motors per week. Rest you know that continuous internal examination marks is 40, semester and examination marks are 60. Total, you will be getting 100 marks. Now, what are the objectives? Why you should learn this subject? Is you will study the constructional features, okay, and you will be able to select a proper motor for a particular application. Okay, uh, different tests that we conduct on the motors. The test we conduct in the previous semester, you conducted OCSC test, right? Very recently, you conducted the same test uh, in the lab exam also. Hope you will remember the lab exam. Okay. Uh, so we'll conduct many tests on the motors here, all the motors, so that I can get the performance parameters of the motors like efficiency, losses. Okay, these are the main things that I need to know. Okay. Then we'll also study the various speed control techniques of the motors for all the motors. Okay, and operation of synchronous motor and special motors. So it is intended to cover all these things after ending the learning of this subject. Okay, yeah. There are 5 modules like in all the subjects. Module 1 deals with DC motors. You have studied DC generators in the previous subject, that is your transformers and generators course. You have studied DC generators. Now, there is no difference between DC generator and DC motor construction wise. If you provide the field supply and the mechanical input, the machine will operate as generator. If you provide the field supply and armature current, the machine will operate as motor. Okay. So construction wise, there is no difference. But still, I will deal with construction initially. Okay. In the first class, when we look into this DC motors. In the first module, we will study about the DC motors, its technical aspects like back EMF, what is the torque produced, okay, what is the significance of back EMF, various types of motors, what are their characteristics, okay, and application of each motor along with that starters. Difference, we have already used this 3-point starter in our lab. There is one more 4-point starter, okay, that we'll look into. Second part of first module is losses and efficiency. Here we deal with the power flow diagram of the motor, okay, efficiency, and what are the different kinds of losses. Okay, so losses in the motors are different at different operating conditions. At no load, the losses are different. At full load, the losses are different. All the aspects of losses will deal in first module, second part. In second module, first part we'll do all the types of tests on the DC motor. Each test what we study is an experiment in the lab. Okay, all these tests, whatever we study, we'll do these tests as an experiment in the practicals. Okay. Second part, we'll study about 3-phase induction motor, okay, where we study the basic operating principle, rotating magnetic field, okay, the concept of synchronous speed, okay, and what is torque slip characteristics, torque speed characteristics, all these things. Okay. In module 3, we will be studying about the performance of 3-phase induction motor. So this is very important part of this study because induction motors are everywhere. Starting from our house, take water lifting pump is a single phase induction motor. My ceiling fan is a single phase induction motor. To a water lifting pump in a barrages, okay, to the motors that are operating in the lifts, in the elevators, in the conveyors. Okay, so induction motors have, you can say, engrossed all the applications of mechanical power, where we need the mechanical work to be done, because induction motors are very strong, very simple in construction, okay, and very less maintenance motors. The maintenance of induction motors is very low. Okay, that is the biggest advantage why the induction motors have been chosen as the we can say working horse of the industry. Induction motors are known as working horse of the industry. Okay. Then in module 4, we study about the speed control of three-phase induction motor and single phase. I will not deal what we are doing in detail. Only I will just show the topics which we are dealing in with. Okay. In second part of module 4, single phase induction motors. Okay. In module 5, synchronous motors. Other motors include the special motors which are used for special applications like stepper motors, servo motors, linear induction motor, universal motor, all these things. Okay. So anybody who want to or who wish to make career in electrical engineering in industrial side uh, or electric vehicles, these electric motors are very much important. I can't promise you that once you study this course completely, you will be able to design anything you want, but at least you will be eligible to enter the field with some confidence. Okay, because you will be knowing the fundamentals, how to control the speed, what is the torque slip characteristic. Okay, see, whatever may be the type of application we are using at the end, fundamentals will remain same. I will show you how the fundamentals have remained same from centuries in the forthcoming slides. So these are the 5 modules that will be covered in the entire part of study. Okay, so these are the textbooks which you can refer. Electric Machines by D.P. Kothari Nagrath, Theory of Alternating Current Machines by Alexander Langsdorff. These you keep it for from library. Okay, you can take it from library. You don't purchase this Langsdorff. You will not understand so easily the language. Okay, Electric Machines by Ashfaq Hussain. Especially this Ashfaq Hussain is good for induction motors. Okay. One more important book which you can purchase. Okay, there is no ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಮೋಸ ಇಲ್ಲ, even if you pay and purchase. Okay, electrical technology. A textbook of electrical technology. Okay. Preferably volume 2, because volume 1 is basic electrical, volume 2 is machines, volume 3 is transmission and distribution, volume 4 is entire. Preferably volume 2 by B.L. Thareja. All these books cover all the motors. Okay, all these books cover all the motors. Okay, this is by S. Chand Publications. Once you purchase this B.L. Thareja, okay, it will cover all motors, generators, transformers, special motors, everything. Okay, so you can purchase this. Okay? There is no problem. Okay, either you can purchase this. D.P. Kothari and Nagrath, I have not gone through fully. So at this point of time, I don't suggest directly to purchase this. But blindly, I can say B.L. Thareja you can purchase, because it covers various topics, all the topics of the syllabus, one thing. Also, the things which you need for the competitive exams. Even in future, this will be always useful to you even in your future. Okay, that is one thing. So these are the 4 books you can refer through. Okay, and for all the topics I will be referring by Kothari, Ashfaq Hussain, and Thareja. Okay, so these 3 books I will be continuously referring. Okay, you should also know what book I refer. Okay. Also, I will try to provide the notes to you. DC motor notes are there, which I have prepared a very long back. Okay, in 2007, I think I prepared. Induction motor notes I have to prepare because I have lost it. Okay, some students took in my previous college where I worked, they did not return it back. So I lost induction motor notes, but I have DC motor notes fully. So first part of the study is DC motors. You will get those notes. Okay. Meanwhile, I will prepare induction motor notes also, and I will provide those notes also. Okay. Now, what is motor? We will start formally. Today will be purely the introduction class. Okay, we'll see the overall overview of the motor, how the motors have evolved till the current generation motors, from where it started, how it started, okay, why it started. So what is a motor? Purposely I have not put the answer here in this slide because I want answers from you. What is a motor in your view? Because we have come across so many applications of motors in our life so far. You please go on telling, I will just write in the form of a points. Again, there is a offer for you. If you want the class to be interactive, I will make it interactive. If you are not interested to respond, I will make it monotonous. Okay, it is up to your choice. Yeah, what is motor?
It converts electrical energy to mechanical energy.
Okay, this is a very simple, formal, and technical definition. That converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. Please excuse me for handwriting for 1 or 2 classes because we have lost the practice of writing on digital pad as the physical classes were running for first year students. To mechanical energy. Yeah, this is the definition of an electrical motor. I asked what is motor in general.
It is a device that imparts motion.
That imparts
Motion.
Okay. Please don't use Google there, okay? I believe you. Device that gives motion. Yeah. Anything else? Please don't give the answer which is given by Amir Khan in 3 Idiots. Give some thought. What you understood by seeing a motor? This is how you have to study electrical engineering, by observing each and everything that you come across in your life. Or else you can't understand every concept sitting in one room studying through textbooks. No, you have to understood through observations. If you are blind to all these kind of electrical things that come across you in your life, day-to-day life, then you will miss a major part of study on your own. Yeah, only these 2. Still simple meaning I am expecting.
Motor is a device that simplifies any.
Yes, simplifies what type of work? Now I want to study. Will the motor simplify my work of study?
Mechanical work.
Yes, exactly. I was expecting this. Okay. So motor is what? That helps to do work mechanically. Now today we call our two-wheelers as bikes, right? Earlier what they were called?
Motor
Now,
vehicle.
generally we don't use that terminology. Yes?
Moped, motorcycle.
Hey, no.
Motor vehicle.
Generally they were called as motorcycles. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Even today Harley Davidson, if you see the logo, it is called as Harley Davidson motorcycles. Is it? Are they using electric motor there? No, right? But still they are called motorcycles. Why? Because cycle was first invented, which was easy means to transportation, means of transportation, which we were pedaling manually. Now the same work was done by fitting a device, okay, that is giving the motion. So that we called it as motor. So that is a cycle. It is a cycle, bicycle only, fit with a motor, hence it was called as motorcycle. So motor is anything that is giving out mechanical energy in the form of rotation. Okay, like it has covered all the 3 points, has covered this point. Okay, it gives motion. It also gives work mechanically. Now, why the need of motor came? Because as the society got more and more advanced, more and more work was expected to be done by the people. When more work was to be done by the people, then it was necessary, there was a necessity of more manpower. To reduce the manpower, they wanted some substitution, okay, where a large work is done, okay, with minimum amount of energy. Okay? Even with any number of people, we cannot do the work that is done by motor today, right? It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of man hours. So people started thinking of a substitute technology, okay, or a technology which will be substitute for the human efforts. In this way, the motors came into existence. Okay, so that is why motor is there in the society, which is easing all the mechanical work. Now, why only the motor is important for me? Because most of the work that we do in our day-to-day life is mechanical in nature. You observe. If I want to ease myself in doing some work, I have to reduce mechanical work done by me. Most of the work that we do in day-to-day life is mechanical. So I wanted a device or a system that can be substituted with my physical efforts, and more amount of work is done in less amount of time. That was one more motive why the motors were largely started using, okay, in the society. Okay, so this is why motors. Okay, what is a motor and why motors for instance. Now these are the two motors. These are the two motors which span for almost 150 years. So the first image, what you see, this is the first electric motor. This is the first electric motor built by Benjamin Franklin. We know his name. He is an American inventor, Benjamin Franklin. Okay. This was operating on electrostatic principle. See, motor action can be obtained in electrostatic way or in electromagnetic way. Because in electromagnetic, what we are doing, we are taking two magnets in the same space. Either there is attraction or repulsion. In electrostatic, what we do, we take two charges in the same space. So either there is a repulsion or attraction between those two charges. In both the cases, we will get mechanical output. But why? What happened next? We'll look into the further slides. So this is the first motor which was built by Benjamin Franklin, which was operating on electrostatic principle. Now this is today's induction motor. Current day induction motor. This is a three-phase squirrel cage induction motor. Okay, see the difference, and also the level of complexity that has come into the motor. Because requirement rose, therefore design changed, system become different. Okay. Now, what is the history of motors? The first motor was built in 1740s. Think it was in the earlier 18th century by Andrew Gordon and Benjamin Franklin. This whatever I showed you, this is a Franklin model of electrostatic motor, which was operating. It is not a concept. It was an operating motor. So it was built in 1740s. Okay. And the current model of induction motor was built in 1890s. See the time span here. There is almost a gap of 150 years. So the time that it took from this model to this model is 1.5 century. Okay. The time that it took from this model to this model is 1.5 century. Okay. So motor is that old, and you won't believe electrical locomotives are older than steam engine locomotives. Okay. Before the steam engine locomotives were wholeheartedly accepted by the public, it was tried to push electric locomotives on the road. Only it was because of the limited generation and limited charging facilities provided, electric locomotives lost their charm in the society. Okay. So the first electric motor was actually built for the application of locomotive only. A trolley, electrical trolley, they wanted to build for some processing industry. Okay. So which was operated, the Benjamin Franklin model of motor was operating on electrostatic principle. Okay. But this motor was not suitable for large loads. Because for large loads, it required high voltages. And generating high voltages electrostatically was not feasible in those days. It may be feasible today, but in those days, in 1700s, generating high voltages with electrostatic principle was not that simple. Okay. Then the current model, what we see with small amount of changes. Some changes have happened after 1890 or 1900s till today. Okay. But this induction motor, which we call squirrel cage and slip ring, wound motor and cage motor, was built by these two people in 1890s. So it took 150 years to develop a full-fledged motor which was used for any other applications, generally from a electrostatic motor which was limited with the applications. Okay. So commercial usage of Franklin model was not feasible. But after 1890s, commercially the motors were used in all aspects of technology. Okay. And this was an induction motor. This is very important. Okay. There are two types of motors, induction motors and conduction motors. But even the conduction is also inductive in nature. Okay. Induction motors and conduction motors. Three-phase induction motor, two single-phase induction motors are induction motors, whereas DC motors and synchronous motors are conduction motors. But even though there is a conduction, the conduction is through induction only, or through through inductive principle only. Okay. But whereas the Franklin model was of electrostatic in nature, why not we used electrostatic principle in our motors is because of the energy density. Why electromagnetic motors and not electrostatic motors? The energy density of electrostatic field is just 40 joules per meter cube. If I create an electrostatic field of 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter volume, then the amount of work done is only 40 joules. Whereas the energy density of electromagnetic field is 1 megajoules per meter cube. Okay, the ratio itself is nearly 1 megajoules. If you take 1 mega by 40, it is nearly 1 mega only. Okay, so the energy density of electromagnetic field is very high when compared to electrostatic field. So what does this mean? If I want to do the same amount of work using electrostatic field, I need a very large amount of energy when compared to electromagnetic field. Okay, now we have a ceiling fan which is of hardly we can say 4 inches or 5 inches of its diameter. Okay, outer diameter, let us say, not including blades, only that the rotor. If I use an electrostatic motor, instead of 5 inches, it may be some around 50 feet you can take. Roughly, I am exaggerating, but roughly. So you need one room only to fix a fan, where you cannot sit in that. That is a rough comparatively you can understand. If the same amount of work that has to be done using electrostatic fields, the space requirement is very large, because the work done in 1 meter cube volume is only 40 joules, where here it is 1 megajoules. Okay, now if I want 40 joules of work done using electromagnetic field, I don't need 1 meter cube volume. I need 40 by 1 mega of volume. Okay, so the space requirement, the energy requirement using electromagnetic field is very much limited when compared to electrostatic field. That is the reason why all our machines are electromagnetic in nature and not electrostatic in nature. This is a very important point you should remember. Okay, why not all our machines are electrostatic? It is not that electrostatic fields will not do the work. Electrostatic fields will also do the work, but they need large amount of energy to do the work. Whereas electromagnetic fields needs small amount of energy to do the same amount of work. Okay. Why to study motors? This is the motivation to study the course. Because most useful form of energy in practice is mechanical energy. So when motors have spanned in all the applications, their existence is in all the applications, it is the requirement of an engineer, a related engineer like electrical engineer, to study the motors, so that he can put in his knowledge, experience, expertise, skill to improvise the system and make the future systems much more efficient, much more conducive for the public usage. Okay, so that is the motive to study the motors. Okay, and moreover, why we should study motors is to make your career. If you want to make your career in electrical processing industries or electrical vehicle industries, now the bigger industry which is coming for electrical engineers is electric vehicles. Okay, so electric vehicles, briefly I will tell you what all things are involved in this. Electric vehicle industry, first you need to know motors, all type of motors, because it is not only induction motor or not only DC motor that are used in electric vehicles. It is combination in power electronics. Third is battery technology. Next is power network. For charging. So these are the main wings of electrical vehicle industry. You can make your career in motors directly by studying the motors, or you can make your career through power electronics in electric vehicle industry, because the motor control is now not mechanical, it is electronic, and we use power electronics, which you study in 5th semester, the power electronics. The next is battery technology. Obviously, I can't take a tethered motor for a long distances. Tethered means connected wire. Okay, so we need batteries. So battery technology is one of the most emerging field of electrical engineering today, which is combination of chemical engineers and electrical engineers. Then power network for charging. Okay, now I have all these things, but I need a network to charge. And the behavior of power charging or the battery charging is different when compared to normal usage. Using electricity to use it for a motor that is used in washing machine, or the motor that is used in our mixer, the motor that is used in our refrigerators, is different to power the motor that has to be charged through or operated through the battery, and this battery needs charging. So we should be knowing what are the dynamics of battery charging, and accordingly I have to set up the power network so that the power network is not burdened with harmonics. Harmonics are the big headaches of electrical engineers. Okay, in the olden days you see demons. In mythology we come across demons, Rakshasas. So harmonics are those demons for electrical engineer. Wherever you go, whatever you do, harmonics will come and get induced. Okay, and more the power electronics I use, more the harmonics are generated in the current wave. More the harmonics, more the losses, especially iron losses. Okay, more the iron losses in all the devices that are connected. Okay, so you may all of you have purchased LED bulbs, CFL bulbs and incandescent bulbs at one point of time. If you go and purchase a 25 watt incandescent bulb or a 10 watt incandescent bulb, we call it a zero bulb actually. How much it costs? Now it is costing 15 to 20 rupees. You go and purchase a 9 watt LED, how much it will cost?
Around 2.
Yes, why? Why there is a cost difference? Because output is same, 9 watts and 10 watts. Even if CFL, it is of the same range. Because the CFLs and LEDs are the lamps that will change the current waveform from non-sinusoidal to non-sinusoidal nature. Therefore, the filters are used so that the harmonic content in the current wave is been filtered, and we get a more sinusoidal current wave in those devices. Okay, we are paying not for the lamp or the LED, we are paying for the filters used. Okay, some company lamps are very costly, some company lamps are very cheap. On the roadside you may get LED lamps for 50 rupees and 60 rupees also. Have you come across those? Okay, you take 50 rupees LED lamp and a Philips LED, you connect both, you observe the power consumed by both. The power consumed by 50 rupees LED will be more than the power consumed by or energy consumed by Philips LED, because there are no filters that are used in what we say a low cost LEDs or CFLs, where the losses will increase, and we are not paying for only the power that is used, We are paying for the power that is supplied. You should be aware of this. The power supplied includes the power that I use, also the power that is lost in my usage. Okay, if the loss is more, usage is less, then electricity bill will be more. Okay, so that part I will tell when the time comes. Okay, let us not discuss all those things now. So this is why the study of motors is important today. Okay, even if you consider it for the sake of your career, to make your career, it is necessary. Okay, so because most of the practical work done in practice is mechanical energy, and motors are taking a major share of this work done, we should know as engineers what motors are, how they behave, okay, what are they constituted of, what are the principle, how they are controlled, and where they are applied. That is the motive of the study. Okay. Now, why electric motors are important? We saw what is a motor now. We come to electric motor. Now I have given a very simple comparison of two devices that give out mechanical output. So this is a motor, BLDC motor, brushless DC motor, which is of 48 volts. This is an engine. Okay. Now this is an engine of auto rickshaw. Three-wheeler auto rickshaw. Now in our college, in our department, okay, under my guidance, we have retrofitted the three-wheeler auto rickshaw using BLDC motor. Okay, we have taken out this engine and we have fitted this 48 volts BLDC motor into the three-wheeler auto rickshaw, which you have seen many times in front of your machines lab. Okay, that auto rickshaw is not engine driven, it is motor driven. That is an electrical auto rickshaw, which is built in our department, in our college, by your seniors. Okay, under my guidance only. Okay, so see the difference. Why electric motors are important? Because this is one example, okay, I'm giving, because this is a live example that I have worked upon. See the complexity of an engine, see the simplicity of a motor. Weight wise, number of parts wise, operation wise, efficiency wise. Okay, electric motors are much better than these fuel engines, gasoline engine or petrol engine or diesel engine, whatever. Okay. Actually, the first attempt for locomotive was done by electric motors only. Because of non-availability of better charging, they were dropped. But after a century, again electric motors are gaining their share in the locomotives, okay, or in transportation. So electric motors are very simple in their usage. They are less maintained. The maintenance of electric motors is very, very less when compared to an engine. I am solely giving this comparison only for electrical vehicle. There are many other aspects of applications where they tell us why electric motors are important. Okay. Now we have seen why motors are important, because they do a lot of mechanical work, which can be substituted by many people. Now, why electric motors? Why not the motors that are run by other fuels? Because today electricity is available everywhere. Now today I can port electricity in the form of batteries, in the form of chargers. Okay, so that makes electric motors more user friendly when compared to other devices that are giving out mechanical output. This is very, very important. Okay, electric motors, because now today electricity is more feasible, and the beauty of electricity is that it can be generated anywhere else and it can be utilized anywhere else. Whereas if you take an engine, if you want to run an engine, you have to carry your fuel wherever you go. But it is not along with the same with electricity. No doubt that today the charging points are very less. But as the users increase, the supporting technology will also increase. 10 years back, there was no concept of power bank for mobile phones. Yes. Today, there is a big competition in the power bank market. Why? Users increased, usability increased, requirements increased, requirement of charging increased. Okay. Therefore, a concept of power bank started, which was with 2000 milliampere hour power bank. The first power bank what I saw was 2000 milliampere hours. Now today the mobile batteries are more than 2000, 3000 milliampere hours. So today the power banks are of minimum of 10,000 milliampere hours. How this evolved? This has not evolved overnight. This has evolved from almost 20 years. For last 20 years, mobile phones are in usage. And in the last few years, power banks have come into the picture. No doubt in future, the charging facility of electric vehicles will also increase. Okay. So this is a very straightforward comparison of a motor with other machine, which is giving out the same type of mechanical output. Engine is also giving out rotational power. Motor is also giving out rotational power. Okay. So electric motors, why they are important? Because electric motors are operating on electricity, and electricity today is available everywhere. That is the biggest advantage, and it is a clean output. There is no gases. Okay, there are no exhaust gases which will pollute the environment. That is another important factor. Okay, so there are very other aspects why electric motors are more important than any other form of device that is giving out my rotational output. Okay. Then what is principle of operation? A fundamental principle of operation of motor. Okay, principle of operation of electric motor especially. Okay. Whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, the conductor experiences a force, or I can say a force is exerted on the conductor. And the amount of force is given by F equal to BIL sin theta, where B is flux density, of magnetic field, I is current in conductor, and L is length of conductor. Theta is angular position. Of conductor. Okay. So this is the amount of force that is exerted on the motor. Okay. Now why this happens? So to operate a motor, what I need? I need a current carrying conductor. I need a magnetic field. These are the two necessities to make the motor operate. Now the question is, why a current carrying conductor should experience a force when it is kept in a magnetic field? Okay, to this I will answer in the next class. Now it's time up.